Is your pet a skinwalker? How to tell and how to survive. Have you ever felt like your pet was watching you in a strange way? I'm not talking about when they're waiting for food or asking to go for a walk. I'm talking about that uncomfortable feeling that something behind those eyes seems a little too intelligent. What you're about to hear is a story inspired by one of North America's most chilling legends, the skinwalker. And if you've ever noticed impossible behavior from your pet, you might want to stay until the very end. It all started with Daniel, a young man who lived in a small house near the woods with his dog, Max. For years, Max had been the perfect companion, playful, loyal, and always excited to see Daniel come home. But one night, something changed. Daniel got home late from work and found Max sitting in the middle of the living room. He wasn't wagging his tail. He wasn't barking. He was just staring at him. What was strange was how the dog seemed to follow every single movement Daniel made with unsettling precision. Daniel tried to ignore it, but over the following weeks, impossible things started happening. First, Max began appearing in places he shouldn't have been able to reach. Daniel would close his bedroom door, and minutes later, he'd find the dog sitting inside. Then came the sounds. One night, just before dawn, Daniel heard someone calling his name from the backyard. Daniel, he assumed it was a neighbor. He went outside to check. No one was there, only Max, sitting in the darkness, staring directly at him. That's when Daniel remembered something he had once read about skinwalkers. According to the legend, skinwalkers are beings capable of mimicking animals and, in some stories, even taking their appearance to get close to people without raising suspicion. And that brings us to the first important question. How can you tell if your pet isn't what it seems? Stories and legends mention several common warning signs. It stares at you for long periods without blinking. It seems to understand complex conversations. It appears in impossible places. It makes strange sounds that almost sound human. Other animals seem afraid of it. It gives you a constant feeling of unease for no obvious reason. Daniel began noticing several of these signs, but the final proof came during a stormy night. As he tried to sleep, he heard footsteps in the hallway. At first, he thought it was Max. Then he opened his eyes. The dog was lying right beside his bed, yet the footsteps continued, slow, heavy, coming from the other side of the house. The next day, Daniel installed security cameras. What they recorded changed everything. At exactly 3 in the morning, Max stood motionless in front of the front door for several minutes, without moving, without any visible sign of breathing. Then he slowly turned his head toward the camera, almost 180 degrees. The recording ended with a sudden burst of static. Daniel was never able to watch the full footage again. So what should you do if you suspect your pet might be a skinwalker? The legends recommend a few things. First, never confront it directly. If it's truly something trying to deceive you, letting it know you're suspicious could make things worse. Second, never follow voices or strange sounds you hear at night, especially if they seem to come from outside. Many stories claim these entities imitate familiar voices to lure people away. Third, keep your doors and windows locked after dark. And most importantly, if you witness something impossible, don't get closer to investigate. Curiosity is exactly what many stories say these creatures take advantage of. So how do you survive? Folklore experts agree on one interesting thing. Most stories end badly when the victim tries to investigate too much. That's why the most common advice is stay calm. Don't follow unknown voices. Avoid going outside alone at night. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, walk away. Daniel followed that advice. A week later, he abandoned the house and moved to another city. He never returned. But before leaving, he checked the security cameras one last time. In the final recording, Max was sitting in front of the front door, staring directly into the lens, completely motionless for hours. And just before the video ended, something impossible happened. The dog's figure slowly opened its mouth, and with a perfectly human voice, it said, "Why are you leaving?" The screen went black, and no one ever heard from Daniel again. What do you think? Are skinwalkers nothing more than a legend? Or could there be something darker hiding behind these stories? And let me know in the comments. And tonight, when your pet stares at you from the darkness, ask yourself one question. Are you absolutely sure it's still your pet?